What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have a Madison City's top 8, and this is day number 2 of the Tennessee Marathon. There is 6 days of this marathon, and I did record all 6 days, so it's going to be very exciting. But on the left, we have Calvin Cochran, and on the right, we have Michael Wyatt, and I promise this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I know what both these players are playing, but I have no idea how the matchup goes. And we see Calvin start with the Shaman, and Michael start with the Unknown, so both players starting with cards they don't want to start. We see Calvin going to use a Love Ball, and he is going to grab a Golurk. And this means he is playing a Golurk deck. Now, if you don't know, the Golurk has the ability Double Type. As long as this Pokemon is in play, it is a Psychic and Fighting type. And then it has the attack Superpower. It does 80 damage. You may do 40 more damage. If you do, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. So 80 plus 40 is 120. But when you do the 20 damage, Golurk actually has resistance to fighting, so it actually doesn't hurt itself. We see a Metal Energy go down to Golett and a pass from Calvin, which is never good. And let's see what Michael is playing. We see an Acrobike, discarding a Super Rod, full stone going to Unknown. And I promise, when you see this, it's gonna be different. We see a Trainer's Mail, and let's see what he decides to get. He's rearranging some cards. He's gonna grab a maintenance. Yeah, that's a maintenance. So maintenance lets you put 2 cards into your deck and then draw a card. And you'll see why he's doing this. I don't give any surprises away. Right now, you just need to know that he is Unknown in the active spot with the Floatstone. Alright, so then he draws a card. There's another Trainer's Mail. And his only real card he could get is a Sycamore. And we see a Lysander, we see a Shaman. There we see an Ultra Ball discarding a Sycamore and something else to get out Shebe to draw 6 cards. I wish I knew what the other card was. It got discarded fairly quickly. Alright. So we see Shebe going to draw up to 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. And we do see an Archie's in his hand. We see a Battle Compressor from Michael, discarding an Greninjas. I think that's 3 Greninjas. That glare is bad. I'm sorry about that. I apologize for the glare. But that is 3 Greninjas. Alright, we see an Acrobike. And if you don't know, Greninja has the ability to Water Shuriken. You discard a Water Energy from your hand, and if you do, you can do 30 damage anywhere. But we see a Miltank with a Mustang come down, and a Sycamore discarding double Archie. So no Archie's turn 1, he whiffs it. And let's see what Michael decides to do. Discards, use an Ultra Ball, discarding a Lysander. And let's see what the other card is. A Verse Seeker. I don't even know how much Miltank does. I think it does 80. There's a Latios as well. So this whole deck has basically been revealed now. It's a Latios Miltank Greninja deck. It's definitely something. It's something, alright. We see a Miltank come down with a Muscle Band. We'll see retreat into a Latios. We see a Pharaoh Letter, drawing into another Latios. Alright, and just a pass on to Calvin's turn. Let's see what happens. We see a Golurk coming down. Now that does need 4 energies, or 3 with the Dimension Valley. We see a Metal Energy come down. We see a Dimension Valley, and we see a Birch. Alright, and let's see what Birch gets. Come on, Birch, give him heads. Let's see what happens. Don't let us down, Birch. You know, what you always say, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. We see Calvin definitely trying to see if he can get the biscuit or not. Hopefully it's a good soft biscuit. It's good, tasty. But we'll see what happens. Oh, he didn't flip the coin yet. And tails. Only 4. He must have had a hard biscuit or something. I don't know. But we see another Golett coming down. We see an Eevee as well coming down. So he does play like different Eevees, like Flareon and everything like that, to actually help out in the matchup. We see Michael's turn. He did Trainer's Mail, going to opt to get nothing. Did see a Judge in that 4 cards, so I guess he doesn't want that. We see a Miltank coming down, a Water Energy, Verse Seeker for the Archies to get out their Greninja, and here comes Greninja. Alrighty, so definitely time for some interesting stuff. Alright, so we see a Trainer's Mail, and let's see what card he gets. Gonna get, I'm not even sure what stadium that is. Mountain Ring, maybe? Or a Faded Town. I think it might be a Faded Town. I cannot tell. That card is blurry. But we see a Flowstone going into the active. We see a treat into the Miltank. And we're going to see a good old Powerful Friends. It does, I think 100 damage? No. Oh, wrong. I'm trying to look it up real quick just to make sure. It looks like we see a Sycamore from Calvin. Discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. While I look up what Miltank this is, I think I know what it does. Hold on a second. But waiting to see what Calvin does. But Power Friends does 10. If there's a stage 2 Pokemon to play, it does 20 more damage. So 80 with the Muscle Band, 100 basically. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so 100 damage. We see a Dimension Valley come down. An Ultra Ball, discarding a Vaporeon. And, let's see. A Focus Sash. Now, Calvin does play Focus Sash because Golurk does become a fighting type. But Focus Sash is basically useless because of that Greninja with its Water Shuriken ability. Just make it kind of unplayable. We try to pull Greninja up real quick. Like I said, the ability is Water Shuriken. It does 30 to any Pokemon to play when you discard a Water Energy. We see a Flowstone gun on Shaman. Shebe drawn up to 6. I imagine Calvin is looking for some kind of energy to attack the turn. He does have a Metal Energy in his hand. I don't know if he's already attached or not. We see a Jolteon come down, which is could hit for weakness on the Shamans. We see a Metal Energy come down. We're going to see a Treat. And we're going to see a Superpower. It will knock out the Miltank. It does have fighting weakness as well. So that just destroys it. So here comes a Latios. And this is going to start getting weird. I'm not even sure how this plays out. Alright. And we make sure Greninja does. Just making sure. Okay, we see an Ultra Ball. Oh my goodness. He just Ultra Ball got nothing. Verse seeking for another Greninja. So we see 2 Greninjas coming out. Yeah, Water Shuriken, you may discard a Water Energy from your hand. If you do, put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. I was just making sure. So, Water Shuriken, knocking out the Shaman EX, taking 2 prize cards. Alright, so that's fancy right there. And he does have another Water Shuriken. Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, it's a Psychic Energy. Okay, Psychic Energy to the active. We see a Maintenance, putting in 2 cards. And let's see what he draws. Alright. Let's see what he gets off the 1 card. Well, I don't know. It was too quick. I don't know what happened. Mustang going on to Miltank, and we'll see a Light Pulse doing 60? Oh, no, 40. 40. 40, 40, 40. I'm pretty sure it's 40. DC going down to Golurk. And can Calvin, I didn't talk about this, but Calvin does play Bronzong as well to help power up his Golurks. We'll see a Birch from Calvin. Maybe? Alright. And Birch, I couldn't tell if that was heads or tails. That coin, that was a, I don't know. It was, I couldn't tell from the dice. Well, let's see what happens for Calvin. Alright. And, I mean, let's see. So, Miltank, oh man, we gotta see how much HP Golurk has. That's another question as well. So many things I have to look up. Calvin said, even Calvin told me, have fun looking up what all these cards do while we play. Calvin knows I look up cards while I play games, or while stuff happens. So, we see a Love Ball from Calvin. Probably getting out of Bronzong. He can start Metalings, put energies onto his bench Pokemon. He's looking through his deck to see what's all in there. Alright. And, I mean, we're going to see Superpower. It will not knock out the Latios. It'll only do 120 damage. Hopefully that's a Latios and not a Latios. I think it's Latios, though. So, Golurk has 130 HP, which is great because you can Water Shuriken and then use Powerful Friends to knock it out. We see a Heavy Ball getting out of Golett because it does have a 3 retreat cost. So Golett is like perfect because you can use Heavy Ball and or a Living Ball to search it out. And let's see. Calvin's going to look through Michael's discard pile to see what's all in there. And like I said, this Miltank can use Powerful Friends with the Water Shuriken to knock it out since it does have 130 HP. And let's see. Alright, we just see 120 damage from the Superpower. We see an Acrobike, discarding a Battle Compressor. And Michael does have the water energy. He could Water Shuriken right now to do damage onto the bench Golurk. He's actually going to do it to the Shaman, okay? We'll see a Retreat into the Miltank, and we will see a Powerful Friends for the knockout. Yep, taking a prize card, going down to 2. But if Calvin can respond with his Golurk and knock out the Miltank, Michael will need a Miltank Energy Life Center to knock out Shaman. We see a Metalings going down to the Golurk. And we'll probably see Retreat and a Superpower doing like 240 to that Miltank. I think it's weak to fighting. And let's see what Calvin decides to do. I think he was opting to play a Judge or not. A Golett comes down. And we'll see a Superpower for the knockout. And on a Michael's turn, let's see. Does he have a Miltank, Muscle Band, Lysander in his hand? I don't think so. He would have played that down like almost immediately. Alright, let's see what happens. This is definitely a weird game, though, for sure. Now, all that Michael needs to do, well, I don't know. There's a Feral Letter. Okay, we see another Miltank, Psyche Energy, Burst Seeker. For the Lysander, bringing up Shaman. And we'll see a Powerful Friends for 80. And then knocking it out. Okay, did he? Okay. Maybe I missed a Water Shuriken. Oh no, it only has 110 HP. So Powerful Friends does knock it out immediately with the muscle. Okay, that's really cool. Alright, sorry about that. I forget that Shaman has more than, like, I thought I had 130 HP for a second. Alright, we're good. Alright, so Powerful Friends knock it out. We see a retreat into the Golurk. And we will see a knockout into the Miltank. Yep, superpower. Okay, taking another knockout. And on to Michael's turn. Let's see what he decides to do. Alright, so Michael has one prize card left. Calvin has 3. Let's see. What does Michael have? Sorry that I've been kind of off commentating this game. This is just a weird matchup. And I'm not sure what happens. I know game number 2 will be a little bit better. We see a judge putting both players at 4 cards. Now, if you don't know, Latios also has the its fast raid attack, can attack on the first turn to give potential donks, and that's kind of what they went for with this deck, which is very clever. And let's see what happens. We see a... Is that an energy retrieval? Yeah, energy retrieval, get 2 water energies. We'll see a... We might see a double water shuriken. Just not sure where they go. 30 goes into the Bronzong, 30 goes into the Bronzong, and that makes it where Greninja next turn can take the knockout on Bronzong to win the game, unless Calvin can AZ it up. Alright, so the Greninja definitely coming in clutch right now. Double Water Shuriken onto bench Bronzong, and let's see what Calvin can do. Superpower will knock out the Latios, for sure. We see a Floatstone. Where does Calvin put it? It all come down to, does Michael have another energy or not? We see a knockout onto the Latios. We see... Oh, maybe. Hold on. We'll see who comes up. Oh. He's debating this. He's going to the Latios or not. Regardless, all he needs is a water energy to win the game. So, let's see what happens. Does he have the water energy or not? Alright, he's going to look through Calvin's discard pile, see what's all in there. Maybe see if he has a Verse Seeker or not. So, Greninja comes up. We'll see a Shaman. And, alright, so Calvin wins the game. Oh, he was actually looking for is that a Fisherman? I imagine that's a Fisherman. If Michael were to get that Fisherman, he could get another water energy out of the discard pile and win the game. So game 1 goes to Calvin. Alright, that's a... I don't even know how this matchup goes. I mean, it seems like Michael should have the advantage because he could Water Shuriken and then knock out a... Like, Water Shuriken and these Power Friends with the Muscle Man to knock out a Golurk, or maybe not, because then Michael needs a Muscle Man with a Miltank. I don't know who wins this matchup. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how this works. But this is gonna be game number 2. Basically, the reason why Michael lost game number 1 is because he didn't have the Fisherman in his deck. If he had the Fisherman, he could have used to get back 4 water energies into his hand. All right. So let's see game number 2. Let's see what happens. Does Michael get the turn 1 in Polion? Not. It's the big question as well. Or not Polion, sorry, Greninja. I keep saying Napoleon, but it's Greninja. So you see Michael start with the Miltank. And if you don't know, Fast Raid could come into play right now. I think Eevee has 50 HP. So if you get a Muscle Band onto a Latios with a Psyche Energy, you could knock out a Eevee. Oh man, that could be scary. Let's see what happens. I think I see a Maintenance, going to put 2 cards into his deck and then draw a card. Or he could get a turn 1 Greninja out and then use Latios to fast raid that way. Maintenance to draw a card. Drawing it to a Greninja. We see an Ultra Ball, discarding a Psychic and a Greninja. Getting out the Latios, and he does have the Verse Seeker in hand. The question is, does he... I imagine he might have a Verse Seeker for an Archie's in his discard pile. Yep, Verse Seeker for an Archie's. Gonna get out the Greninja turn 1. And let's see what happens. He does have the water energy. He could Water Shuriken to the active. We see a Battle Compressor going to discard 3 cards out of his deck. And does Michael draw into a Psyche Energy and a way to retreat this Miltank or not? It's gonna be let's see what happens. So we see a Battle Compressor discarding I think 2 Battle Compressors, maybe in a third one. Was he a Trainer's Mail for 4? Nothing really in the discard pile he wants. Yeah, so not going to get anything. Now, if Michael could draw into a Shaman as well, that could help chain the combo. We see an Acrobike. I don't think he's excited about those two cards. He would have probably like immediately grabbed one. Water Energy to the active, Water Shuriken to the Eevee, and just a pass. Alright, so he missed it. And on to Calvin's turn. He has the Lava Ball. He can get down the Golett. There we go. So Michael barely missed the turn one. He just needed a way to retreat the Miltank and have the Psychic Energy to Latios. So close, but it does happen. And I wonder what Michael's one card is. That could be a big question as well. But we see a Love Ball getting out of the Golett. And let's see what Calvin decides to do here. He does have a Sycamore and he does have a Birch as well. And Michael only has one card in his hand. What does Calvin do here? Looks like he's going to go for a Sycamore because that's why he's shuffling his deck up. I can't imagine if he's going to use a Birch, he wouldn't be shuffling right now. That's what I think. I could be wrong though. And yeah, we're going to see Sycamore discard Shauna. He plays Shauna and Birch. Oh man. Alright, so 7 cards here. Let's see what Calvin gets. Another Golett comes down. He's probably trying to look for Bronzors as well to get some Bronzors down. We see a Dimension Valley come down, and just to pass, we see a Fade. I think it's a Fade Town, and we see a Verse Seeker, or another Verse Seeker for an Archie's, getting another Greninja down. Oh my goodness! A Muscle Man going to the active. Water Shuriken knock out the Eevee. We see a Golett coming down. Acrobike discarding a Flowstone. Water Shuriken to the bench. Golett. We see an Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards, getting out of Shebe, and Michael has a crazy turn 2. Oh my goodness! All right, so that's oh my goodness! I don't even know what to say right now. I'm kind of speechless. But we'll see a Powerful Friends knocking out this Golett. We see a Maintenance putting 2 cards in his deck, drawing a card, and I mean Calvin's in a really bad spot for sure. All right, so we see drawing a card for the Maintenance. We see a Trainer's Mail for 4, getting nothing. I saw an Unknown Shaman, a Psychic Energy, and I'm not sure what the other card was. And we see a Power Friends knocking out. Alright, so it goes down to 4 prize cards. We see a Golurk come down, a DCE, Dimension Valley, Sycamore, and does he get another Pokemon down or not is the big question. Do we see? Okay, he does have an Ultra Ball in hand. Okay, so we see an Ultra Ball discarding a Focus Sash and a Flowstone, and imagine this will get down another Golett. Or maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe something else. We'll see what Calvin decides to do. He's looking. Okay, so another Golett. Yeah, I was supposed to say, you really don't want to get down a Bronzor or Eevee right now, because if he can just double Greninja to knock out a Bronzor or Eevee, I think they both have like 60 HP. Alright, and we'll see Superpower knock out the Miltank, and on to Michael's turn, he promotes the Latios. We see an Acrobike, discarding an Ultra Ball. I think the other card was Shaman. We see a Water Shuriken, 30 to the bench Golett. We see a Shaman drawing up to 6. Michael does have an Ultra Ball and a Muscle Band, but it looks like he's going to put a Muscle Band onto the active. Is that a Fisherman? Yeah, I think it's a Fisherman. A Psychic Energy to the active, a Water Shuriken to the bench Golett, and we'll see a Fast Raid for 60 to the active. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Heavy Ball and something else to get out a Golurk. Now this means that double Greninja can't knock out Golurk next turn. It'll only do up to 120, and Golurk has 130. So both Golurks will be able to survive, or at least one of the Golurks will be able to survive. We see a DC going out to the bench Golurk. And Calvin doesn't really have anything. Alright, just a superpower for 120. We see a Miltank come down. Alright. And let's see what Michael decides to do here. I wish I know how much damage that the Golurk has. Look at Michael using nice clear dice. We can see how much damage is on him. I think the active Golurk has 60 HP or 90 HP on it, or 90 damage on it. I want to see a fast rate for the knockout onto Calvin's turn. Does he get another Pokemon down or not? We see a Metal Energy. He can use Superpower. Does he have anything to put in the Pokemon down? Alright, he does have the Shaman in hand, so he can put down Shaman, draw in some cards. I think that's what Calvin's trying to debate what to do right now. Because he could Lyson or Miltank and take a knockout. which might not be a bad play. You get rid of the powerful friends next turn. So let's see what happens. All right, gonna put it back down, and let's see, does he go for the Lysander or not? Yeah, he's going to Lysander, bringing up that Miltank, taking out the threat basically, and he can Shaman to drop to 6. Yep, Shaman drawn up to 6. I imagine he wants to get another Golurk down, because he needs another attacker basically. Let's see what he decides to do. Yep, super power for the knockout. Going down to 4 prize cards. It is 34. On a Michael's turn. We see a Water Shuriken into the Shaman. We see a Verse Seeker. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, Verse Seeker. Let's see what he decides to get. Not sure what he grabbed. Alright, but he did knock out the Golurk. Oh, Giovanni Scheme. That's what it is. So he does plus 20 more damage. We see an Eevee come down. We see a DC going out to the active. Alright, and Calvin, Mike only has 2 prize cards left. All he has to do is knock out the Shaman, win the game. Shaman drawing 1 card. He did get an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dimension Valley. And a Metal Energy. This will probably get down another Golurk. If he has one in the deck, I don't think he has one. There's a Bronzor. That's not a Golurk. That's what he needs. Did Calvin prize some Golurks? I'm not sure. We see a Verse Seeker. Or Sycamore, discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. Alright. And let's see what Calvin gets here. Does he have a Super Rod to give back some Golurks and Golurks? That might be a big question. We see a Sky Return for 30. And on a Michael's turn, we see an Unknown, Pharaoh Letter. We see a Trainer's Maul for 4. And he plays double Dragon Energies as well. Oh my goodness. What is this craziness? Alright. Let's see what he gets off the Trainer's Mail. Regardless, he can knock out this Eevee on the active spot for sure. So we see a Verse Seeker coming down to Michael's hand. What Calvin might be able to, the big might, is like Sky Return between double Shamans, like over and over again. That might be a play. Looks like Michael's counting see many energies in the discard pile. Because if he can just like Sky Return, Shin of a Shaman, Sky Return, Shin of a Shaman, Sky Return, Shin of a Shaman, and Michael can't get down a Miltank, Calvin could win that way. Let's see what happens. We're gonna see a Water Shuriken, double to the active, and we'll see a Light Pulse on to Calvin's turn. We see a DC go on to the active, and he does have the other Shaman in hand. Like I said, he could just constantly just Sky Return over and over again. Shaman, yep, putting the Shaman down, and I would just Sky Return here. I don't think there's much you can do. You're almost going to deck out too as well. Let's see what he decides to do. We see a Professor Birch. Going to Birch. Not sure what that was. It looks like a Tails, maybe. See, only 4 cards. But like I said, if Calvin keeps constantly doing this, I don't know what Michael can do. Alright. We'll see a Sky Return for 30, knocking out the Latios, going down to 2 prize cards. And on a Michael's turn, we see a Greninja come up. And he does have a Miltank. Or, what was that? What was that? I don't know. I don't know what card that was. Ow, oh no! What card was that? Let's see. Let's see. If Michael, let's try to think here. What can Michael have done to win that turn? Shaman has 210 HP. Okay. Double Water Shuriken will do 60. Yeah, double Water Shuriken will do 60. Alright. And I'm trying to see how much damage Greninja does. Hold on 1 second. I think I know what he did. Or theoretically, I might know what he did. Let's see here. Okay, so Greninja does 50 damage to the active. So what could happen? Oh man, what could happen is he could double Water Shuriken for 60 and then use Mist Slash for 50, which is a knockout. That's 110 damage exactly. Oh buddy, I thought that I didn't even know that Greninja attack did 50. I thought it did 30. So there we go. That's how he won that game. I guess he must have Fisherman or something. I don't know. That's the best way I can think of, though. And we see both players mulligan. And on to game number 3. Calvin did mulligan once again. And I imagine Calvin is going to go first for sure this game. Hey, what does Calvin need? Well, he needs Michael not to get a turn 1 Archies and then not to get a turn 2 Archies like he did last game. That was just pretty brutal. And we see Calvin getting another mulligan to Michael. So he has 2 mulligans right now. I'm just going to help trying to get that turn 1 Archies a little bit more. Let's see once again. Does the Calvin get another Pokemon or not? Alright. And another mulligan. Alright, so it looks like 3 mulligans for Michael right now, which is never good when you're, you know. I mean, I don't know. Michael might not want to take the mulligans. It depends if he has the turn 1 Archies or not already. Alright, so new 7 cards from Calvin. And there we go. Alright, so you got to go let down. And let's see, does Michael take his mulligan draws or not? Yeah, he's going to take all 3 of them. Alright, let's see. Game number 3. Calvin starts a Golett, and Michael starts a Latios. Alright, we see a heavy ball coming down to Calvin, just saying, hey, you're not going to donk me this game. I'm going to get down 2 Pokemon, just in case if you do get that turn 1 Archies, you're not going to knock me out. And let's see what Calvin decides to do here. I do see a DC in his hand. The question is, where does it go? Does it go to the active, or does it go to the bench? We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Metal and a Sycamore. I think that's what we saw. I mean, yeah. Okay, Metal and Sycamore getting a Bronzor, getting a DCE, and we'll Birch. All right, and come on, Birch. Yes. So we'll see Birch for 7s. Birch for 7s. But we'll see Birch gonna shuffle in his hand and draw 7 cards. He did risk it, and he did get the biscuit. All right. Hopefully, he has some scrambled eggs on the side or something. All right, but let's see what happens here. I don't know. Every time I was talking about risking for the biscuit, I always think of breakfast. We see a Focus Sash going down to Golurk, a Golett. It is not a Golurk yet. And a pass. And on to Michael's turn. Let's see. Does he have a crazy turn 1? We see a Battle Compressor discarding Greninja, and an Archies. All right. And like 3 Greninjas. That's crazy. What if you get all 3 Greninjas down? That means 90 damage a turn. Let's see what he's. Flowstone maybe to the active. I mean, he has a bunch of cards, and he has a Verse Seeker in his hand. I think he has it this turn. We see an Acrobike, discarding a Water, putting down whatever stadium that is. I still have yet to find out what that is. A Trainer's Mail for nothing. Alright. Let's see what Michael decides to do. We see another Trainer's Mail. He could grab the Ultra Ball. I'm going to grab a Sycamore. Going to see an Ultra Ball, discarding a Water and a Sycamore. Getting a Miltank. Alright. Oh, man, I think Michael has it. I'm pretty sure Michael has it. All those extra cards in his hand just helped out so much more. We see a Flowstone, Muscle Band, Water Energy, Burst Seeker. He even retreats before even Archies. He's like, yep, I'm retreating. Then I'm going to get Archies. And there's the Archies getting 5 cards. We see another Miltank come down. He does have an Ultra Ball. He could Ultra Ball for Shebe. Yep, going to see an Ultra Ball getting out the Shebe. I imagine he's looking for a Water Energy to put onto the to Water Shark and the bench. Golett. And it's just not looking good for Calvin right now. Shaman drawn up to 6. Does he get the Water Energy? And he whiffs it. Alright, let's see. What can Michael do? Does he go for another Shaman? Ultra Ball discarded Giovanni Scheme and a mystery card. Some kind of trainer card. I'm going to assume a Battle Compressor. We see another Shaman. We see Calvin playing with the dice right now. We see a Flowstone going on Greninja. Shaman drawn up to 6. He does have the energy retrieval and a Battle Compressor. So with this, he could discard, multiple Water Energies if he wants to. That's what Michael's looking for right now. And no, it's not looking good for Calvin. And we see a Greninja and a Battle Compressor being discarded. That means Michael already has Water Energies in the discard pile. We see an energy retrieval getting out 2 Water Energies. And we already see Calvin putting down the 30 damage onto that bench Golett. Alright, we see Power Friends for a knockout. What a crazy turn 1 from Michael. I don't see how it gets any better than that. Dimension Valley comes down. Ultra Ball discarding 2 Metal Energies. Getting down the Golurk. I imagine so. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Hold on. He's debating something. Maybe he doesn't have a supporter to say it, and that's why he's thinking of getting Shaman. Alright, we're waiting to see what he decides to do. Alright, let's see. He's just looking at everything in his deck to see what he can get. Oh, another Golett comes down. Alright, I like it. Maybe he's saying, maybe he's like, I don't have the attack this turn, or maybe I don't know what I'll have this turn, so maybe we'll get down to Golett just to be safe. Metal Energy to the active. Sycamore discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. Does he get the Golurk down or not? No. Bronzong come down. There's the Golurk. Okay, I got a little bit scared. We'll see a Metal Link's going down to the Bronzong. Oops. Okay, Michael let him take it back. I think it was just he just kind of attached the wrong place. Focus Ash go down to Golett. Never mind. I want to see why not. You wouldn't attach it. I don't know. But let's see what happens. I think time is called. I think that's why there was a dice placed on Calvin's side of the field. It has been a really long time. So Focus Sash going down to the Golett. It's always hard to tell, especially as this game is 2x speed at the current moment. Well, let's see what Calvin decides to do. I mean, he's going to superpower, knock out the Miltank. That's for sure. Alright, we see a Greninja come up with the Floatstone. We see a Water Shard going to the Golett. We see an Unknown come down. Acrobike. Does he want the purple energy or does he want the blue energy? Do you take the purple or blue? Which one do you take? Oh man. Alright, so he's going to take the purple energy. That's such a weird situation. Alright. We see a purple energy going to Miltank. And let's see, does he have the Muscle Band or not? It's the big question. We see a Verse Seeker grabbing a Sycamore. Oh no, Giovanni schemes to do the plus 20 damage. And then Power Friends will knock it out. Okay, there we go. Not sure what turn it is. I think it's turn. If things how I think it went, it's either turn. I think it's turn 2 for Calvin. We see a Golett come up. Alright, let's see what Calvin has. We see an Ultra Ball, discarding an Eevee, maybe not. Let's see, an Eevee comes down, and a Birch. Going to grab a Golurk, I imagine so. Let's see what it decides to get. I mean, I imagine he get a Golurk. Let's see what he gets here. Look at the deck, see what he wants to get. Maybe he doesn't have any other Golurks. Oh, maybe. We see a Shaman coming down. Does he have any more Golurks in his deck? I don't see one when he's searching it. Hold on. We're looking through it. I don't see any Golurks in there. Oh, man. I see a Super Rod. Give back a Golurk, Golett. And another Golett. Yeah, I think his other Golurks must be prized. Oh, man. That's bad if that's true. Cause that makes the odds of, drawing into it even harder. Oh man, this is not good. This is not good at all. Let's see what Calvin can do. Can Calvin pull a miracle? Let's see what happens. Let's see Shaman drawing up to 6. Get the Golurk or not. There's a DCE. There's a Golett. And we see a Sycamore. And let's see, does he get the Golurk or not? Alright, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does he get the Golurk or not? Alright, he does have an Ultra Ball, so that means he can get the Golurk out. The question is, what will happen next turn? I am not 100% sure. Oh, he has the Golurk regardless. Alright. We see a Metal Link's going down to Golett. And we'll see a Superpower for the knockout. The question is, what can Michael do next turn? That Golurk does have 100 HP left. Alright, so things are going to get scary here for Calvin. Calvin's debating what to do. He does have the Ultra Ball. I'm not really sure what he'll look for, though, if he gets the Ultra Ball. Oh, never mind. He's not going to get it. Alright, Ultra Ball. Yep. Let's see. Discards a Metal Energy and a Shaman. And I think what he's going to go for is an Eevee. I'm not really sure if I like this play if he goes for an Eevee. So he's going to get an Eevee, and the reason why he's doing this, let's say, Calvin takes a knockout and Michael doesn't take a knockout, then it's 4-4 prizes, and the next knockout wins, and Calvin has a Lysander to bring up Shaman next turn to knock it out. I think that's what he's maybe going for if he puts down Eevee. But, oh man, putting down the Eevee might be bad as well, because it is an easier card to knock out on Michael's side of the field. Yep, there's an Eevee coming down. Alright, so we'll have to see what happens. Alright, it makes me a little bit nervous. We'll see a Superpower for the knockout. And on Michael's turn, we see a Latios come up in the active spot. We see an Unknown coming down. We see a farewell letter. We see a Miltank. We see a Psychic Energy. And we see a Verse for a Giovanni scheme. The Eevee did not matter, and Michael wins this game. It was time, and I mentioned that Michael was turn number 3. So very, very close. Game number 3 for sure. If Michael didn't have the knockout, Calvin did have the Lysander and Jolteon on hand to knock out a Shaman for the next turn. But there we go. That is a crazy Madison City's top 8. I'm sorry that I wasn't the best commentating this. I still don't know what all the cards do. That's pretty crazy there. But hopefully you enjoyed this video of Madison City's top 8. It was 2 roguish decks. Golurk versus Greninja, Miltank, Latios, which both those decks are crazy, but congrats to both these guys for making top 8 with both these rogue decks. We won't see what happens on Michael in top 4. In the next game, we'll see somebody else play besides Michael. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something new about these decks. They're both pretty... Well, Golurk's not so new to me. We've played the deck on the channel before, but definitely we haven't played the Greninja Miltank deck. But I hope you have a great day. Alrighty.